Not short on injustice, my frustration rushes. Enough is enough, yes, I'm channeling Douglas and tumping encompass to anger from numbness.
So here we are, and I'm gonna show you how to use one of the programs, and this one is like a sampling mixer setup so that y'all can create beats. It's much more user-friendly, easier to start with than it is to use the programmer sequencer deal where you're plugging in where it is you want each different sound to come into play, and then you're tweaking each and every single one of those. I've already created a song with this program called Music Maker Jams, and I recorded vocals over here in the BandLab app that I have right here, and I'll be in this one. That's what the logo looks like for when you download it, which is this. This is what Music Maker Jams looks like. Now, to give you another little rough intro, so that's all my introduction is doing. Kind of give you a nice little effect of what's going to happen. Let's say I bounce over to this other section. This is my verse section. And here's my chorus section. Right, and so that's how the plug and play is gonna go. And if you look in here, then you can see that each time I come up and I select one of these pieces, one of the tracks, that all I'm doing is I'm arming and disarming the components. And there's my initial bass line. When I want to record, I would come on over here and I'd press the record button, and it would record as it plays through. Now, if you want to know how to bring things in, and this app, Music Maker Jams, has a wonderful tutorial that shows you how to do all the things that I'm telling you how to do right now. But in order to, bring in an instrument, you see these little plus symbols, you just go ahead and click on a plus, and it's going to come over here with a couple of presets, and you can purchase more, but these come for free. And, for a lot of what we're working on right now, just getting a basic song put together, how do you lay it out? What are you doing? This is good enough for us to get started. I'm going to go ahead and click on the hip hop. And what I've done is I've clicked drums, and it's got a 16 set. You can hear that it's playing pretty quickly. I can go ahead and slide that over to a different kind of drum, and I'm just picking whatever it is that I want. And you can layer the different drums together, so you can have this claps E with a 16 triplet, which is what I'm doing especially in the chorus that you saw later. Say that I've already selected my drums and it's playing in this track. Then maybe I want a nice little guitar riff. So you go ahead and you just pick those out and you layer them. And that's how that's done. And then once you have it selected, you come on down here. And whenever you want to play it. So I'm starting with that one. Now I'm going to arm the FX. The line I just picked. And that's pretty dope. All right. When you're setting up your tracks and you've picked out the kind of instruments that you want, probably one of the most important things is going to be your tempo, which is selected by this number over here on the side. And in the center, there's highlighted 1. Right now it's at 110, and you slide that up and down, and that picks your tempo. Watch what happens. This is a fast track. Hip hop tends to be closer to about 93. See how it's slowing down? Your dance tracks tend to be closer to 120, and I've picked a spot kind of in between for where I wanted to do this track at. I wanted a little more energy and a little more drive, so the hip hop is actually kind of dancey. So I've already done this for just the bassline introduction, and what I want is a 4-bar recording of the bass and the horns coming in. So that's line 1 and line 2, because that's gonna open up and really introduce my song. And then you'll watch the line move across up top, and each one of these is a bar or a measure, right? And I want to get to the end of the 4, so I'm going to come over here to the 5, but so that I can cut a little bit off the end and trim it up to the exact sound that I want, I'm going to let it hang over the 4th measure just a touch, and then I'll stop the recording, I'll title it, and put it into that file like I showed you already. And that there is how I did the next recording piece. Then I'm going to want to come in, and now I'm going to title it. Title it something that you can find on your phone, something that's going to make sense, because when you go to search these later to put them together in your sequencer that you're going to rap to, you really want to be able to find all the pieces so that you can organize them well. I'm going to call this Intro 2, and this song that I've titled is The Power Within. The reason that I always put the title of the song that I'm working with is because if I lose where it is and I need to search them, no matter where it's at, if I put the title of the song with all of the components will show up. All right, so we'll go back through this one more time, because this is how you have to get your MP3 file out of the Music Maker jams and into a format that can be imported into BandLab so that you can go ahead and sequence your song before you rap to it. They have this little sharing button up here. You click on the sharing button. You want a song, I don't want to publish it yet because it's not a complete song, but you can share what you create with others. I'll go down to others. I'm not ready to publish anywhere yet. I just want to make a file, so I'm clicking more to look for. I go to the audio format, but the location is my Google Drive. And I've already got a folder set up. All I need to do is title this correctly. Titled so I can find it. It's going to save into the file. This is where I'm going to select how I want to begin the verse. And I think I want to take the big stuff out, and I want to take the triplets. But I want the bass line, I want that horn line, and I want the drums to kick in, and I want them all to kick in all at once. And so the song is going to open up with a bass line, then it's going to move in to the horn, and both of those are going to build, and then instantly after 4 measures of that, it's just going to bang. You'll see what I'm talking about when I'm done. But it's going to start off like the verse is going to hit like this. I'll do 8 measures of this sound, and then I'm going to start bringing other things in. So time to record. Alright, so just like I did with the other piece, I recorded a clip that was just over the length that I wanted it, and I wanted it as an 8 measure. So I've got 8 bars going on there. And what that's going to allow me to do is to clip it right at the point that I want to stop the sound, and then I'll just copy and paste that later. I'll show you in the sequencer what I'm talking about when I get there. But I'm going to do that whole process all at once. What I'm going to name this one is Verse 1, Part 1. Power Within. Again, leaving consistent that I'm putting the title with it so that I can always find it. So for a 4 measure count, what I want is this wobbly sort of bassy thing to kick in. So I want to give the people something to anticipate. You hear that wobble going off? Now I'm bringing in this guitar riff, and right as it turns around the 8 measure part, I'm gonna drop these other drums in. So that's essentially what I want the second half of the verse to do. So now I'll make sure I do it this time. I'm about to cut it just a little bit long so that I can work with it. Alright, now the only component that I have left is the bridge into the verse, from the verse into the chorus, laying out the chorus, and then making a little outro to the chorus so that the MC can prepare to rap for the second verse. The sound that's going to be, the little bridge that I've built in, is this. That's the transition piece, and I want that by itself. Again, I've taken it just a little bit longer, maybe even twice as long as what I want. I think that this should only be like a 4-measure transition, so that I don't lose people, because that fills in, it gets boring. But I've got enough. So I know what I'm looking for. I'm calling it the bridge. Title with the title of the name. I know everything that's going on. And it's back to saving. Next piece is what I want to do with the chorus as it brings in. So I want to listen to it. I think I already have it mapped out. Alright, it's not how I want it to fit. Alright, now I already have that part, the bridge melody. I want that to be consistent. And what I did was I dropped that in for 4. I dropped this in for 4 measures, and then I drop in the drums. Now I can let this play as long as I want, because I'm making a section and I'm going to trim it to what I want later. I'm going to let it finish out and carry over just one, and that way I get all the measures. And you can see chorus, power within, titled it towards the song, easy to find, into the saving. All that's left for the chorus, and the only thing left to really bring out of this is an outro that slides out of the chorus. So we'll play it. I'm gonna play it and figure out what I like as a sound, as like a drop. Alright, so I think like it's gonna build up all this pressure, and then all of a sudden everything's gonna drop away except for the drums, and it's sort of like little pad keyboard thing that's going on, and then all the drums are gonna get taken out. Those are gonna drop. Then that sound is gonna disappear, and bam, the music's gonna drop right back in with the verse. So you see how in the middle of doing that, I did an automation play, kind of, right? So I started dropping down the volume right as that was going. Then when the verse comes back in, the verse is gonna have full volume and full force, and it's gonna be in time. So the MC, myself, right now, will be able to count those and feel that the verse is coming back in. The other thing that I might want to do with this, is to come up with an outro for the entire song. But I'm not gonna be there until I've actually recorded the song. Let's put it all together. Alright, so now I'm in BandLab, and I want to create a new one. And so, new project. When you create a program, they're probably going to be out of time. I made the beat in a tempo of 110, and this one is set to 120. If I do not fix this, my time signatures will be out of sequence, and I won't be able to measure the bars up correctly. So I'll just move that on down. Alright, so now that my tempo's set, I'll import those beats, those components of the beat. I want to line up the drop of that beat with the line that's on the track. So you see how that kicks in as soon as we crossed over the 6. Now I'm going to bring in the bridge. I'll let that upload. Now, if you remember from what I said, I only wanted the intro to run for 4 bars, for 4 measures. And by clicking on this little circle piece over here, at the end of the rectangle of the track, I can move that into place. I need another 4, so I want this spike here to actually start on the 8. Since that's where I want it to begin, I'll come down here, I'll line it up, and watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to press and hold, and I'm going to slide it over. And this is, I'm going to do exactly the same thing for the verses, from the intro into the verses, but this is the transition. There's my bridge. It's got this little bit of a build into it. Right here. Kick it right there. Pop in the game, but you know it gon' fare. I made that beat, provide that heat. You already know my rhymes provide heat. Pop for the beat. And there it is. Alright, so I'll chime y'all in when I get the rest of this done. I need to go back and rework that instrumental, and I'll play the whole thing for you so you can see what I'm working on. As I promised you, I would come back when I had all of the tracks lined up so that you could see what's going on and how I got laid out. And here's the intro. Here comes the bridge. Second portion of the bridge. Chorus. There's the chorus outro. It's gonna fade. Watch for the drop. In. This is the second verse. Now I noticed a little bit of an issue and some timing when I went through and set it up the first time, so I'm gonna go through and clean that up. But essentially, that's how you take an instrumental from Music Maker Jam where we produce the beat at. You record the track. Tell it that you want to save it as an audio file. Select your Google Drive. Save it as a file. Once that's done, you come on over here to BandLab, find the plus symbol, you hit the plus, import your audio track, select your Google Drive, go to the file that it's at, pick the file you want to import, and then it'll come up as one of these WAV files that you see right here, and then you'll be able to build and sequence and structure your beat that you're going to be rapping on later. When you've got your beat the way that you want to have your beat set up, and probably before you get there, in case something happens like you run out of power, I have a power cord hooked up to this so that I don't run out of power, or you have to leave or something happens, I usually, saving my project, Control S, is been like my staple, my go-to for everything. But definitely once you're done, what you want to do is you want to save it. And this little cloud with the arrow in it will allow you to be able to save it. Now I'm not ready to publish this yet. I don't want it to go public. So I'm going to hit Save Private. Untitle it, as always. And now I can return to this project when I'm ready for it. These are the lyrics for the song that I wrote for the hip hop workshop, The Power Within. This song is titled The Power Within. And I'm in the middle of a revision process. And so I made the beat on my phone. Then I recorded it on my phone. And now I'm in the middle of a revision process of both the instrumental and so now I'm in the middle of a revision process for both the instrumental and the lyrics, and I've just completed the revision for the instrumental, have that built in. And now I'm going to finish out rewriting the lyrics, re-recording the lyrics with the mic booth that I built and everything else so that y'all can see how all of the components fit together. This is the original version of the song as it was put up on SoundCloud from the phone after being recorded and everything. Essentially what's here in this notebook.
Stop shit. Yo, I control this here. Just like these sounds you hear. They be so fresh and nice. I mix that fire ice. Cause I spit with a covenant conviction benediction. But more like an addiction to transmission of thought. Dropping lyrics indivisible from high and stop on a dot. Then I slide back in to tell you the lesson professing. I'm an MC, all about the message. The quest is entailed in the question. What do I want in this world full of blessings?
And now that I've remade the beat and I've built a box for the audio to come through clearly, and I've reset up the beat and reworked it and organized it, the song is really going to pop and stand out now. when you record into your phone, if you were to just play it like this, the microphone on a phone is going to pick up everything that is going through the speaker of the phone. And so in order to limit that, what you want to do is like you want to use a pair of headphones. And so then you plug your headphones in. This gets kind of important. A lot of the headphones that comes with your phone has 3 prongs, and that's because it has a microphone attached to it. And you can do that, but I would make sure that your headphones have 2. The way that I'm going to record is with these, and I'm going to use so that I know that the headphones don't have a microphone attached to it because they're not as strong. They're usually smaller, and they're designed to pick up more of the ambient effect of what's going on around, because the mics might not be as close to the mouth of the individual. The 2 prongs with the headphones will allow me to be able to use the microphone of my phone while also hearing the music, and that will knock down like 90% of the feedback that's going to come through the recording of the phone. So it's not going out of the phone into the phone, it's going out of the phone into the speakers and stopping there, and then you're spitting over the beat.